Hey everybody, this month's song is the Elk River Blues. I believe this was one of the songs on the soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which came out maybe 20 years ago. It's a great movie and a really neat soundtrack of all Appalachian kind of music. And so this tune actually comes from a fiddler named Ernie Carpenter. I believe he was a West Virginia fiddler. And he wrote it, but he never copyrighted it, and so it's a public domain tune that's really fun to play, and for me, it's just an earworm, so I think you're going to love it. So let's get started with the easier version. We're in the key of G, and one of the fun things about this tune is that it's what's called crooked. In other words, the phrase measures are not even. So we have two 4/4 measures, then a 2/4, then four 4/4 measures, then a 2/4, and then it kind of alternates like that throughout. So let's get started. Here's how it begins. I'm just doing the melody first. I missed. And then on the repeat, it goes back to the beginning. So now I would recommend that you pause the video and practice just the tune for a little bit until you get the melody in your head. And then when you have that down, come back and take a look at the harmony. We have... And then there are a couple ways you could do this, or either way. I think I like this way better. Or then you could do right left. Part's going to be, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Once again, that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Together, and then for the righties out there, I'll do right, left, right, left. Now this, it's a little crushed note, grace note. And I did the same hammering pattern there. I did together, then right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Harmony, so you can either do it this way, or I think either one's fine. Then this one's a bottoms up roll. Notice I used both D's. That helps it not sound mechanical, because each D has a slightly different timbre to the sound. Together, left, right, left, or together, right, left, right. So that's the whole thing. it kind of makes you dizzy because it just goes around and around, and it just slightly changes in each phrase. So super fun to play. Let's do one full run through, and you can join me if you're playing along at home. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I hope you enjoy learning this new tune, and I'll see you next month. Howdy, howdy. This month's tune is the Elk River Blues. Just a quick little backstory behind this tune. It was written by this fiddler named Ernie Carpenter in West Virginia, but he wanted to leave it public domain and never copyrighted it. And I believe it was the soundtrack in some movies, including the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou movie from about 20 years ago. And it's just a great, catchy tune. It's a little Appalachian without being over the top twangy for those of you who don't like old time or bluegrass. But it is a good example of Appalachian old time. So I think you're going to like it. The first step should always be learn the tune. And so for that, I'd recommend that you watch the first couple of minutes of the beginner's version, where I play just the melody for you. And then when you have that down, come back to this spot in this video, and I'll show you how to do the harmony. So let's get started here. We are in the key of G. Now, when you have hands together, most of the time you're going to have your left hand on top. So we have together, and then you have a decision to make. Are you going to go together right, left, right? Or are you going to go together left, right, left? And so if you are right-handed, normally on an upbeat you'll have your left hand. So that's what I'll show first. I'll do together, left, right. So, together, left, right. And then once you get up there, you're doing a nice little triangle pattern. See? Now for the lefties, you'll have together, but it's together right. And then we have some Floyd Kramer-esque, I don't know how you call it, high harmony. So E with G, then jump over. Now, righties, you may want to have the left hand on top. I don't know that it matters. Now this measure, well, first of all, I hope you noticed that there's a quick little 2-4 measure. And that's what makes this a crooked tune. It has irregular phrase lengths. So you have 4 4s and 2 4s all over the place. Now when you get to measure 4, you have together 1 and then on 2, you have a downbeat. That should be your dominant hand. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So once I get up here, I like to go sideways instead of down. Lefties, you might want to do, so together, left, left, right, left. Or, either way is fine. Then we repeat. So back to at measure 5, it's almost identical. So here we have C and an E. And then I'd probably recommend doing this. So that's a nice little triangle to do. That's not too bad. Now you could do, or whatever feels most natural to you is fine. Now we do have a crushed grace note here. Again, kind of the Floyd Kramer style of piano playing. So it's just a quick together right. So, then you go to that familiar little triangle chord. And then in measure 11, we have a rolled A minor. Bottom up. However, it's a G, B, G. So you might do that if you're left-handed, or if you're right-handed. Or if you want, you could do a mountain roll, middle, low, high. I think I usually do bottoms up, but that's up to you. I'm just noticing that my B's don't get along. That's better. Okay, so again, here's 14. Actually, that G that I played in my left hand at the end there was a tie, so I shouldn't have hit that again. So, and then we have, and for the 2 Ds, I like to play them in different locations, so you get a doobie, 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 doobie. It sounds less mechanical because each note has a slightly different sound. So right, left, together, together. And this is a bottoms up roll. Right, left, right for the righties, left, right, left for the lefties. So that's it. That's all there is to it. In the next video, I'm going to play through the whole thing for you, and you can play along with me. All right, I'll see you next month. Thanks. Hello everybody. Welcome to August. This month's tune is the Elk River Blues, and I think you're going to like it. It's different than anything we've done in a long time. It's an Appalachian style tune without being overly twangy, although I am adding some twang in here. But sometimes you have to just embrace the twang. It's a great tune. It's an earworm, so don't blame me if you get it stuck in your head. I would spend some time on the very first instructional video for beginners just to get the tune in your head, especially because the meters change in it. So this is an example of a crooked tune, and the crooked tunes have irregular phrase lengths. So in this case, we have a couple of 4/4 measures, we have a 2/4, then 4/4/4 measures, a 2/4, 1, 2, 3, 4 4/4s, and a 2/4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 more 4/4 measures, 2/4, and so on. So spend some time just getting familiar with the melody, then we'll dress it up in this advanced version. So assuming you've done that, let's figure out how to put this together. Okay, so we have a little grace note to start. Play that as a flam. So that means that the grace note is on your non-dominant hand, and it hits just before your dominant hand. So we actually have two of them. I'm doing this in slow-mo. F sharp G. And again, the percussion term for what I'm doing is called a flam. I'm going to do it left-handed now. And that gives you that dwee-doo. And then we have a mountain roll right on the first downbeat. So if you're newer to my Patreon page, you might need to scroll back and look at what a mountain roll is. Keep in mind that older posts are available for longer the higher your prescription rate is, I think. So if you're a current member, you just joined, you have access to the previous 2 months, I believe, and the current month. Okay, so, but that's the mountain roll. Middle, low, high, and they're always left, right, left. Then it's easy. It's just a matter of filling in that C chord. Then we have some parallel sixth. With some static harmony underneath it. Now that's me playing the left hand lead. Righties, you may want to do... You'll probably have to start like this with left hand on top. Then you can switch to right hand on top. And now we've arrived here. So because of the distance, I would probably do left-left, or... I guess you could do that if you're right-handed, but that's a long way to go. So I'm going to stick with left-left. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's a little tricky because you have independent rhythms in the top voice and the lower voice. Now this is kind of a repeat of the beginning again with slightly different ornamentation because I try to do it differently each time. So this is called an appoggiatura. It's just a step below the note in the chord that we want, just to give that twang. And then here we go with another mountain roll. Let's see, if you're right-handed, you want to go together and then left. And then you arrive at some thirds. And keep in mind, the melody is actually under the harmony, because that's an Appalachian style trait. So play that lower voice like it is the melody. So now we need to talk about that 2/4 measure. This is a crushed note. So it's hands together, and then you double your dominant hand. So lefties will probably do this. Righties, you'll probably do this. And then we have nice little Here, play both Ds to give it a more human speech-like sound. Instead of doing just right, that makes you sound mechanical. So it'll loosen you up and give a slightly different timbre to each one if you alternate. So after the two Ds, it's going to rub a minute, resolve, and move on. And then this is a bottoms up roll. That's it. You just take a repeat. So take a listen to the full run-through video and play along with me. I will see you next month. Thanks again for your support.